Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, is no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no dip.
Boom! Welcome back, everyone. Wednesday night, 1:13. Here with Brian, a numero dos. Brian, hello. Good to see you.
What's up, Mike? Thanks for coming up.
Some would say deuce.
And my number one, I don't know what to say here, Pete. I can say two things. I can say thank you.
What would you like to say thank you for?
Or I could say sorry, I doubted you. What would you prefer that I said?
Oh, God, where do we begin?
Did anyone? Is that Mario?
Oh, Luigi.
That was sick.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you.
I didn't know who was coming in.
I don't know who did you think it was?
You got to turn up your volume.
We can't hear him.
I thought it was going to be Spates.
No Shave November going strong for Lloyd.
Dan, can you speak? No one can hear you.
Oh boy, really?
No, you good.
Get close. Get as close as you can to it.
He's fine. He's fine. Talk. So yeah, I'm doing well. Nice to be here tonight, Mike.
It's great to have you here. Great, Dan. What a pleasure it is to have you tonight, Dan. How's life there, Lloyd? Give us a high level update.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
You're good.
You're good.
No, I can't hear you. But what up? No, everything's good. I can't find my AirPods, which is why I'm on whatever iPad sound.
All right, so you short visit to Milford.
Last time you had AirPods, no one could hear you too. So you just have sound problems, Dan. You can be the sound guy.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm better.
All right,
volume. You turned up the volume?
I turned it down by accident.
Oh.
Anyways,
Lloyd, how you feel about Trump? You going to the inauguration?
You had to go there already. Come on.
I didn't know you were coming. I'm glad Pete went there, not me.
Well, I mean,
all right, never mind.
You should. We'll talk about it after.
Thanks for having me on. Dan, do that backstage. Good to have you here, Dan. Yeah. Lloyd, I love to whenever we have guests. Pete, A+ entrance, A+ music. I do want to get your response, but Dan, we don't get other people's perspectives on the season. So, where's your head at? It seems like a fun year. What do you think?
Well, I got to say, I was listening to Case and Pete a little bit talk before, but it really is wide open. Even the bottom's the bottom, but other than that,
Pete, he could hear us. Is he backstage? He can hear us.
I don't know.
What's wrong, Brian? You a little scared, huh?
No. I'm just curious. I said some things to Pete that were supposed to be off the record, off the air.
Well, guess what? They were on the record.
All right, so you know what happens if I run out of here real quick?
It was nothing bad. It was all good.
Okay. All right. Pete, you got to give me a signal or something.
Dan, tell me offline what they said because I wasn't on. I just joined and then they turned
really. That's why I was surprised. Case clearly didn't pay attention to anything that happened over the weekend.
He never does.
I had a golf trip this past weekend. I didn't know what was going on.
Where was the golf trip? You like to give us updates on your personal life, Brian? Where was the golf trip?
Florida, Sarasota, Bradenton area.
Get out of town. How'd you play?
We won 9.5, 5.5.
Great.
90 holes of golf.
Lloyd, who makes the playoffs?
I don't know. It's tough, honestly. I would hold on, let me look real quick. I would say right now,
crap for not paying attention.
Well, no, because there's so many. I didn't realize how many people were at 5-5 until I just looked. I'm in third place, but the way my team's going right now, I don't like what's happening. Duddy's team's trending in the right direction. You got CMC back, so I would say he's there. And then, Steve's team played well last week. The Bees are kind of, floating around. So I would say between me, DeVito, and Christian, it's kind of a toss-up.
All right, Dan, just piece of advice between now and the end of this podcast. I want more declarative opinions. No wishy-washy. Come out and say it, baby. No one holds us accountable. Because think about it. I said Pete had no chance to beat CJ. Pete.
All right, so I'll say me, you, Spates, and Innis.
Innis. All right, that's safe bet. Top 4 at the moment. Pete, when did you feel like you were going to win?
Oh, not until the last snap Monday night. I was waiting for a Kyron Williams touchdown, the pity touchdown, anything, and it would have been gone. He came within a touchdown of beating me. Whew. So Tuesday morning, I woke up very relieved, and I was laughing, quite frankly.
It's awesome. It was great. Did you change your phone? Did you change your ringtone?
I don't know how to.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, I know how to make that video. I don't know how to change my ringtone.
I don't think I even know what my ringtone is. My phone's on vibrate all the time.
Mine's still shipping up to Boston. It is very old man to have an actual song play on your ringtone when it goes off.
It is. Remember in college when it became like the thing to do? What was your ringtone?
Hate it or love it.
What's that?
Hate it or love it. The underdogs on top.
Dan, what was yours?
Overnight Celebrity Twister.
What's that? I don't know that. What's the beat?
Twisty.
Overnight
Celebrity overnight.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Case, what was yours?
When?
College.
Oh, I didn't have a ringtone. I just had generic, whatever it was.
You know what mine was?
Why do you even join the podcast?
You stink. Mine was Van Halen Jump. It was the best.
Jump.
It was like a karaoke song for you, wasn't it?
It's a good one if you want to get the crowd going.
Now mine's the YMCA.
Jump it. I gotta say, I had shipping up to Boston, and I left it on like a conference room table one time, and I went to like the bathroom, and it started ringing in the middle of the meeting, and shipping up to Boston played over and over and over again until I came back. It was bad.
And then you got fired.
Yeah, it was one of the times. It wasn't because of that.
All right, should we do some recap in here? Let's do it, guys. We got
the week in review.
We got a week in review. We are hitting week number 11. That means we are recapping week number 10. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, before I get started, trade deadline, Saturday, November 30th. It is the day after. Look at Lloyd's going to break out a colored pencil for that one. That's a fantasy baseball joke for you, the viewers at home. There, that was an old school one. But yeah, trade deadline is Saturday, November 30th. All right. Boom of the week goes to Steve DeVito, 161.44. His first boom of the year. It was 58th all time, so it really sucked. He is in 5th place with 6 booms now. So Steve climbing the list. Beast of the week, fitting we got Lloyd here.
Man,
you want to just name it? Just say it out loud. Drop MF in there.
Thank God he did.
Yes.
Hey Dan,
Jamar Chase.
Were you happier that Jamar Chase scored 73, or more surprised that he beat the rest of your team combined?
No. I mean, I'm thank God he did, because I would have lost.
You would have.
If he matched Calvin Ridley, I'm done.
You would have. Well, congrats, Dan. Sorry, Pete.
Thank you.
73.5 points in our scoring system for Jamar Chase is the most all-time for a single player. Beats the previous mark by DJ Moore. That was 66 points set in 2023 for Kaleli. 66 points, so he beat it handily.
Oh, handily.
And longest play of the week also goes to Chase, 70-yarder. There was a guy in the Ravens that had like an 80-yard catch, but no one played him. The average score was 126, down from 142, so really bad. The magic number of 136 is 37 and 9. I'm dyslexic, man. Okay. Dyslexic. You got a dyslexic horn. Magic number 136. If you hit that, you are 37 and 9. Ugh. Hey,
right?
Yeah, I'm all right. A couple Miller Lights. Will do me good. It was the end of week 10, so we actually have 100 scores. Do you want to go over 100 scores and talk about some of the funniest ones?
Love it. Love it.
Highest score. Do you guys remember it?
Spates?
189.
The highest score was CJ Spates, week 3, 192. I got to say.
No 200 points this year so far. That's surprising.
No 200 points yet, but the number 2 and number 3 highest scores go to Dan Larkin, 190 and 181. So Dan with 2 out of the 3 highest scores. Good for you, Lloyd. Your team's putting up points. Lowest scores. Any guesses there? You guys remember that one?
Breen, 58.
Oh yeah,
It was.
nice.
It was Kevin Breen on week 7. He scored 54 points.
Oh.
The next lowest one was DeVito, who scored 74. So another one, Breen was like 20 points lower than the lowest score.
It's a low score.
The average score for our league is 132. Last things I saw. You want to guess the best losing score and the worst winning score? The best score to lose, right? Like who scored the highest but lost? It was. It's hard for you to guess this, so I'll just tell you. The best losing score was Jeff Innes.
Innes had a big one this week too.
Yeah, Jeff Innes, week 8, he scored 158 and he lost the Spates.
Wow. Even this week, 150. He scored 149 and he lost.
Kaleli, the worst winning score, week 6, you had 96 points and you beat Breen 96 to 74. You should be ashamed of yourself with that kind of.
A win's a win.
Win early counts the same as a win late, Pete. Come on, it's the only thing Case has taught us around here.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
So is this one of the lowest scoring years of the league?
No, this one's actually not bad compared to other leagues. We're around league average. 132s. We're in the 130s pretty much every single year.
Yeah.
We don't have as many enormous. Everyone's in the middle. We don't have any 200 plus that we used to have.
Didn't you score 212 one week last year?
Yeah, in the semis.
Yeah, we had several 200 pluses last year.
We haven't had one.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Leagues down.
Pete, I don't know. I think there's something about the NFL. NFL offenses have not been as good as they have been the last couple of years. Passing isn't as good. The quarterbacks in the NFL suck. They suck.
Can we make an argument that the town is more dispersed around our rosters given the condensed records right now?
Definitely.
Is that an option?
Definitely an option. I mean, the fact that the 10th place team is only 2 games out of the playoffs and we have 5 games left is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Agreed.
What the hell is going on there? Those girls are going to fall through the ceiling. Lloyd, where are you?
It's kind of like my man cave, but not really.
Got a man cave? Let me tell you, that's the first step.
I don't have an attic or a basement.
Okay. All right, well, Lloyd, let's get some recap, and we'll bring you in. You'll play the role of DeVito. Let's just limit the stats to 2 a game, please. Game of the week. Game of the week. Pete, Case forgot to show up to a game of the week. Didn't even break 100. This might be the blowout of the week. It was the blowout of the week because I'm now looking at it. Give us the recap.
My favorite is that we all planned this. We all start by saying that I didn't watch any football this week, and I have no idea what happened. Did you watch football? You did?
I did.
I didn't watch a single thing. I had a rough.
I watched the 1 o'clock games. I watched all of them, and I have a take.
Oh, okay.
You want my take now?
Number 2 seed Mike over the number 6. Oh yeah, go ahead with your take. What am I? I'm not.
You guys were all wrong. Joe Flacco was horrible. He cost that team a game, and he has no upside. They should have been playing Anthony Richardson every single down, every single game. Flacco has no upside. He was awful. He cost them the game against the Bills. Free Anthony Richardson. He's already back on the roster. I might even play him this week. Sorry, Pete.
I stopped the pod for a Joe Flacco rant. Oh, I'd take on Joe
Flacco was good.
You were like Joe Flacco, baseline quarterback.
Yeah,
Give me AR.
He's better than Richardson.
I don't think anybody said that.
I'm playing Richardson this week, guys.
We just said the receivers catch the ball because he actually could throw it. That's all.
I'm playing Richardson this week. I'm going to win with it.
Richardson throws the ball sideways.
Fine.
And he eats Snickers upside down. Eat Snickers upside down.
Don't stop Pete before any more Mike's takes.
He's a big Snickers upside down guy.
Yeah, he likes it. All right. Number 2 seed Mike over number 6 seed Casey, 146 to 96. It was the biggest blowout of the week. Casey, third time this season with being the biggest blowout. You lead the league and getting blown out.
Is that true?
It is true. Congratulations. Mike won the game. Tua almost got killed. Good for him for not getting killed on that. Did you see that? There was a pick 6.
I did.
You went to go make the tackle like an idiot. I got a question for you about Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard. You got to say it with a Boston accent. Chuba Hubbard. How do you feel about him? He got a 4-year, $30 million extension. They already have Miles Sanders signed for 4 years, and they got that Brooks guy waiting to come back. What do you feel like you have a starter there? Are you excited about that?
Dude, all year I've been telling you, Chuba Hubbard is my floor. He and Connor, this is what they do. He's awesome. I think he's awesome, dude.
Oh, you talking about Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah.
You got to say it quick.
Sorry, Chuba Hubbard. Yes. All right, Dan, I'm going to have you talk about Case's team because we usually have him talk about how bad his team is every week, and I'll let you do it.
Still going to do it.
Is this the biggest fall from grace that a champion has had in this league in 15 years?
Yeah, but he also yes,
gold.
But he's also had a lot of guys like underproduced, like Devontae doing what he did. Cup got hurt. St. Brown, I mean, he's been good, but he wasn't the St. Brown he was last year. Jefferson has been great, but he had a down week last week. Like, he hasn't been very consistent, even though Darnold's been, not terrible. So, the hell's going on?
Keep going.
What are you doing?
But yeah, I mean,
I have to FaceTime my wife real quick. Sorry. I think my daughter just got her school play thing. Hold on. I'm here.
But yeah, I mean, scoring what he was scoring last year, up near 200 a lot, down to 97. I mean, it's a big swing.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for taking it seriously. This guy over here is FaceTiming about his daughter being named the Belle and the Beauty of the Bee. Who cares?
It's Sound of Music this year. She just yelled downstairs. She got Maria. She's the lead again.
I care, Mike. That's good. That's awesome. That's a lead.
Never
That's
seen it.
wrong. She's Maria. It's Sound of Music.
It's Julie Andrews.
I know.
Never seen it, but I'm impressed.
Great music. The hills are alive. Case, you tried to reverse jinx yourself 10 minutes into the games this weekend.
I don't remember texting that. I can't be held responsible for that.
You did. Oh, it's because of Florida.
36 holes.
So, funnily enough, my team is a weird one because Pete just talked about the season. I don't have any of the top 3 scores. I haven't boomed. I'm third in points, so I'm there. Somehow I'm in first. I think this week is kind of what my team has been like all year. No superstar performances other than DJ Moore, no duds, and just a very pedestrian 150 points. So you're playing it. What's that reaction like? What'd you think playing against my roster this week?
Every single one of my players performed under their projection.
Chase Brown's been nice for you, Mike.
Why
Chase
do you
Brown's
say
been
that?
big.
That might be one of the steal trades of the year. Steal trades of the year, Chase Brown.
Why do you
He's a
even...
throw-in.
I did that intentionally, Mike.
I don't think so. I think the trade that Pete and I made were actually quite fair. I agree, Dan. Chase Brown's been pretty good. I've done the whole thing, too. I've got Pacheco sitting on the bench, gang. That's still the thing I feel best about. My kids are belting.
The hills are alive over there.
They are belting the Sound of Music upstairs right now. All right, well, I belted Case this week. Case, you better win this week or we might be done with the return.
Might not be. It's pretty congested.
No, you're done.
Let's go to game number 2, Pete. Sorry to beat you so bad, Case. Game number 2, Lloyd, you came out as hot as Jeff Gordon in 1997, and you end up getting the win over Breen. Pete, give us that recap.
You got to pay anybody off to get your daughter the lead in the play or no?
No, it's just talent.
Slip him some
crypto. Have I explained to you guys that my daughter has like an incredible voice? Have we had this conversation?
You sent us a video. She sounds great.
I follow Sheila on Instagram. I've liked a couple of videos of B.
She belted.
Where did she get it from?
Sheila's cousin's a
Joe can actually. Joe sings like a bird.
No, Sheila's cousin's a professional musician.
Joe. All right. Joe versus Mike. Joe got everything.
Joe, good artist. I have a better voice than Joe. Joe, good artist though.
Really? I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, hold on. Keep going.
All right, let me do the recap while this kid's doing this. All right, number 3, Dan over number 7, Breen. It was 154 to 116. Breen gets Jamar Chase. It became a verb after the weekend. I think that's pretty impressive. Like, they had a collection of people that showed their worst Jamar Chases. What is that? That's what he made? With his
Joe Chloe freehand drew this.
Really? It looks like a MHS election sign.
Is that Providence thing not straight?
It looks like it should say vote for Kate DeLuca.
He drew it with his hand.
I want to know, Dan, how do you feel about getting the guy that scored by far the highest points ever, 73, and still not having the highest score? How do you feel about that?
Not great, but I'll tell you right now, it was karma from when I don't know if it was week 1 or 2 when I played Breen first, and he had Jaden Reed go off for like 45, and we, that was the reason that he beat me. So it felt nice to, stick it back to him for that.
I love that, Dan. Vindictive. I love that.
Good callback, Dan. Hey, Pete, Dan brought up a good point. Can you quickly pull up or someone do it? Did anybody sweep? This is rivalry week. We played everybody now twice that first game. I beat Case twice. Dan and Kev split. It's good. I like to see this because we start to separate when you beat someone twice.
I can pull that up as we go through it.
I like that.
Steve swept Jeff. Christian.
I still don't know why he had Nico Collins in though. Like, he was
Dude, that was a late. Dan, that was a late pull. That he was in all week. He didn't seem to have a backup plan, and he kind of got stuck.
Not that it would have mattered, but
Nice, good dig.
A good.
No, it wasn't a dig.
Win.
I'm just saying, like, there wasn't a lot of points on his bench either way, but
a good win. I mean, Case, Kev is sitting in this, has to win to continue, but his team, I keep saying this, there's something weird that his team has a pretty high floor and he's getting Nico Collins back. Is Kev one of these teams that could be the late in the season noisemaker?
Yeah, I think I picked him last week for saying that he could be, was more threatening than, I forget who the other person was, probably me. If he gets Nico back, it's a game changer because that obviously got off to a hot start. And the rest of his roster, if it puts up 120 and then you throw another 20 points on Nico, now he's above the league average. So it puts him right there.
Dan, do you want to talk about your quarterbacks at all?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought you were never going to ask.
Costing you money.
I don't think I've had a quarterback. Well, I've had a couple score over 20 points, but they weren't in my starting lineup. Like, I just, everyone's shitting on you, Mike, at the draft, but they should have been shitting on me.
Oh, we were shitting on you enough, though.
No, but like, my quarterback
on the bench still.
What'd you say?
At least you have Juju on your bench still.
Is Bo Nix the answer?
Case.
Yeah, is Bo Nix your answer? I saw you broke a 10 on FabWire trying to get him.
Okay, so we talked about this. The quarterback play has been terrible this year. If you look at all like the quarterback, like there's only like 6 guys that scored over 20 points like every week this whole year. Like it's been terrible all around. Bo Nix isn't the answer, but he's been one of the better consistent guys that was available. So
I had a claim in for Bo Nix. He's been solid.
What if you go back to like week 3 or week 4 and actually pull off that trade for Herbert instead of just insulting me, saying I have no quarterback depth?
You have no team depth.
That's fine.
Hey guys, it's my mother.
Junie.
I just had to congratulate Mike.
Call Sheila. She's up. Bye.
June bug. That's so nice.
Beating me, Mike? Did you tell her you beat me this week?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm podcasting in my basement.
With tap dancing upstairs.
I know, it's like a huge family moment.
I can't talk. Ma, I can't talk. This might be the last time ever I'm on a pod. I'll talk to you later. She's gonna text me and be like, what is a podcast? I don't worry about it, Mom. All right, well, Dan, good win. Dan, you're right there, man. Before the season, I was a believer in your team. It's in your hands. So if you don't make the playoffs, it's gonna be on you.
Dak hurt us both. CeeDee Lamb's clearly going the wrong way.
We'll get there when we preview your team. He's gonna put you in an interesting spot because you've got him and Breece Hall. That Jets offense is average, but we'll see. We'll see how well you're coaching. Based on your track record, it's not going to go well. But based on this track record, the greatest
fucking guy,
the greatest upset by the greatest manager in the history of this league. Pete, round of applause. Way to go. Let's recap it. You want me to call CJ? Want me to FaceTime CJ?
No, I already reached out to him. He's busy tonight.
If I FaceTime him, will he pick up? And I'll be like, hey, we're recapping your game. I
think that might have been sour grapes for the greatest upset in the history of this 26-year league. Yeah, Mike, how the automatic mush.
I didn't do the research. I don't know if you go back and look in the 10th week of the season if the 10 seed has ever beaten a historic 1 seed. Has it ever? I can't imagine it's ever happened.
There's no average 10 seed.
It was a 40-point spread, too, on the projection.
I don't care about
the projections are terrible. They're never even close.
Do you know how they get the projections?
Guys, Lloyd does not trust the polls. Never trust the polls.
Yeah, don't trust the polls. The polls could say 49-46 the weekend leading up to it, and then everything could just go to hell. All 6 swing states could go the other way.
Everyone. Iowa polls? Don't give me these last second Iowa polls. God.
Right on, man.
In a weekend full of upsets, your boy took Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Spates' first seed down. So thank you for that. I don't really have much to say. He was 1 touchdown away from beating me, and I probably should not have won. But at the end of the day, I pulled enough to pull it out. So everyone's entitled to a bad one. Good for you, Spates. 4 years of the DeLuca reign.
Congratulations.
Making the league great again.
Case, you said – I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that Spates was going to lose 1 more game the rest of the season. He then immediately lost 2 straight games. Do you have anything that you want to say to CJ Spades?
This is basically going just like the script. Wherever there's this heightened expectation on Spades, he just falls flat in his face. So, although I heard from Bernie today that he's going for the regular season championship. So let's see how this goes.
Who is?
Spades. He's going for it. He's going for the regular season title.
So I did hear from Spates that once the game was final, he immediately contested the results. He wants a recount. And then he asked everybody to join him outside of his house. He was going to give a speech and storm into Baltimore. I was like, this is a little much. Just accept the defeat gracefully and walk away.
He asked us, he asked me if I could call Yahoo and to change the outcome. I can't do that. That's not how
He told me it was fixed.
Dan, we have been talking about Spates being the best team in the league all season. He's been the best team in the league all season. He's now in second place, got beat up by Dadarian, and then barely showed up against Pete. Give me your level of panic if you're CJ, and give me your level of confidence that he's still the team to beat.
I'm not that worried. I think he had some, Henry didn't really play he has been. Kyron didn't really score much. Gibbs, he had a lot of guys that are his bigger guys. Devonta Smith, no points. He just had a bad week. And then his guy, in my opinion, his crutch this year that's been one of his better things is Jaden Daniels has been unbelievable. And he did nothing. So he, in my opinion, has been not to take anything away from his team, but Jaden Daniels playing the way he's played all year, to me, that's been the difference maker, what separated him kind of from the other guys. Because he's been a guy you could count on and score a ton of points that, the quarterback play all around has not been great. So
would you take Jalen Daniels right now, Lloyd? Was that over whatever you got marching out there week to week?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Wouldn't even think twice.
It's funny. I tend to lean towards Lloyd's side, but I also, if you look at Spates' players, there's a couple guys that are not trending in the right direction. Neighbors, I thought he got concussed again. The Giants' offense is still not there. I don't know how many more weeks he has. Kareem Hunt is an every down starter. Devonta Smith has had 3 straight average weeks. If I'm CJ, I think he's got to be looking at the bottom of his roster and trying to make a move or two. I think he has to be, because his lower level starters have gotten iffy 2 weeks in a row. Personally, I think so.
All right, he's pretty deep.
I still think he's the best team. I still think he's the team to beat.
But how about that Darnell Mooney?
Awesome.
You love Darnell Mooney.
Awesome. Mooney's had a great year.
I'm just joking. I have nothing to talk about on my team.
Pete, you might have the best quarterbacks in the league now.
Yeah, great. That quarterback.
He won't trade one of them.
I'll trade whatever you want.
He will trade whatever you want. That's not. He'll way overvalue them.
DeVito.
Screw him.
Hey, nice segue. DeVito and Jeff next game. Dan, born to be here, baby. Let's get that recap.
This was the boom game. Right? Yeah, Steve, 161 to 149. Bet the over on this one. Most total points in the entire league, so good for them too. Jeff was just one big play away, and he has some big players there with Tank Dell, Zay Flowers. These guys, they just didn't show up. So, unfortunately for Jeff, he takes the loss. Second biggest upset of the week. Not a GOAT upset, but it's up there.
2 guys 5-5. Case. This win is one of those wins that I think we can look back in a couple weeks, and it could be a game changer. We get another strong week from DeVito. Are you feeling like Steve's getting some momentum to creep into the playoffs?
I do. I think he is getting some momentum. He's trending the right way. I think Innis has to be happy with McCaffrey. 20 touches, first game back, came out of the game healthy, put up 19 points, and probably, they didn't probably try to stress him too much. Game script for that German game worked out very much in DeVito's favor. If it's a ground game, then that Tracy dude has some traction. I think he's going the right way. Tua, Tyreek. Although Tyreek's got that tear, but he's going to try to play through it, something. So that'd be something to watch.
I think Tyreek's a baby.
You think Tyreek is the next Antonio Brown?
Yes. Good call. Maybe not that crazy, but I could see it.
Hey, speaking of crazy people,
you get hit a lot.
What do you guys think about Mike Tyson against Logan Paul? Do you guys care about that?
No. I do.
Saturday. You watch it?
I thought it was Friday.
whatever Friday. Yeah,
Who do you think's going to win? I think it's just so obvious who's going to win.
I think Paul's going to kill him.
Going to kill him. He's 60 years old.
Yeah, I think Paul's like working extremely hard for the fight. It seems really stupid.
Do you guys believe in the Jake Paul? Like these are all lined up and guys take falls for him, and it's kind of all part of how they get money in their pockets. Is Tyson just the next guy?
No, Tyson's not above it. He did it when he fought against Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, he went to WWE and fast counted Stone Cold. So you never know. I think Jake Paul's going to Logan Paul, whatever Paul is going to kill him.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
I won't.
Man, good win for Steve. Steve's hanging around. This is a pretty good run here for DeVito. This next one, we could have someone lose or leaves down here. Give us the recap here. Darian, not a great week, but gets the win, almost breaks 130, and DeVito barely shows up, doesn't get to 100.
All right. Yeah, real easy one here. 129 to 91. DeVito doesn't even hit 100. Hurts with 34 points. It just shows the high ceiling that the Darian has. I said Bijan Robinson would have a good game, and he dominated. DeVito just doesn't have that with his quarterback, even though it's Mahomes. It's kind of scary. So anyway, great win for Christian.
Dan, I say you get in the playoffs, and I say your opponent could be Darian. It could be Innis. It could be DeVito. Which one do you want to face, and where does Darian stack up in that list?
I would want to face Darian.
That would be your number one you want to face.
Yeah.
Love that. Let's hear it. Why?
Because he's from Woodland. Woodland kids are soft. Yes, everyone knows those Woodland kids are soft.
I mean, I'm looking at Darian's team. Like, there's no one really that scares me on his team. Like, DeVito's got some guys that can perform. Innis's team, I think, he's scored a lot of points all year. He's lost a lot of close ones. So I think Christian, if Hurts has a bad game, Bijan, that's probably the most he's scored all year. And then his other guys like ETN's gone. So he doesn't have a whole ton of depth. So
couldn't you argue though that he's got the best top 4 in the league? Could I make that argument? Hurts is a quarterback. He's got to be top 3. And then I go Bijan, Garrett Wilson, and Achane. Like, those could be.
Oof. No way. Not
really?
Wilson and Achane. They've been very.
Wilson had a bad one. They didn't have great weeks. I think that's underrated. I think
but the Jets are so inconsistent. Like, Wilson had a couple weeks where he was good, but a lot of weeks where he's been under 10, not scoring touchdowns. And Achane, when Tua was out, they weren't doing anything, and then he had a couple good weeks, and he's back to where he was. It's just so inconsistent.
Wow.
Casey, are you in pain? What's going on over there?
No.
Are you in pain?
No, I'm good.
Dan, what time you got to wake up tomorrow?
Please. I get up at 4:30.
Oh.
Is that a real mustache?
Yeah, my new company's doing this Movember thing, so.
Did you start growing that 13 days ago?
Yep.
That's a good stash in 13 days.
Really
That's 2 weeks.
That's really impressive.
I've gotten a lot of compliments. Tom Selleck,
Whoa.
Juan Valdez.
Do people think you're Italian?
No, they think I'm Mexican.
What does your wife think, Lloyd?
Oh, hates it. Spare bedroom's getting a lot of use.
All right. Well,
that's slide number 2.
Well done. There we go, Dan. There we go. Welcome to the party. Good mustache. Let's do some previewing, Dan. This is where we get to the fun stuff. So we've got week 11 at our fingertips. We have an excellent game of the week. If the playoffs started this week, this would be a first round battle. So let's get that preview. Kaleli and Innis, 1 versus 4.
Yeah. Jeff beat Mike in week 2. That was a big one. But since then, Mike has won 7 out of 8 since that loss. So, Mike, you turned it right around after that. Big player I like in this one is Tua. I think you should roll the dice with him again. Go with it. Who cares? He's going against Vegas. They were the team that gave up 5 touchdowns to Burrow, and they made actually Patrick Mahomes look pretty good. I don't care if they're off a bye. I would roll with them. I'm going to pick Mike.
Whoa. Yahoo is saying this one is a blowout in Jeff's favor. And I'm guessing that's a lot to do, Case, with 2 running backs projected over 20 points. So do you see Kamara and or McCaffrey putting up a big game? And give us your pick.
I do think that McCaffrey's in line for another step forward in his workload. I think, Mike, to what you said in the recap, not having your 2 high floor running backs in this week really impacts the score, the roster, and the matchup. You know, I like the most though for Innis. I think Thursday night's Redskins Eagles game is going to be a shootout. I think Scary Terry gets in the end zone. So I'm going to take Innis this week as my pick.
I know it's Trump's America, but they're called the Commanders.
They're the Commanders, yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
I did hear that they're already petitioning to revert the name back to the Commanders and the Indians, going back to the Indians. So, New America.
Nice.
That's not new. That's been going on for a while.
Lloyd, the 2 guys on my team I am most excited about this week, believe it or not.
An eye bomb on the podcast.
Not including Anthony Richardson, who I'm going to do my best not to put in the lineup this week, but he's there. I am excited about a DJ Moore resurgence because of a new offensive coordinator. And I saw his interview, and they already seem like they're in a good position. They're going to force feed that guy because he complains. And I'm ready for Cedric Tillman. Do you think I could have a bullish approach with some high variant receivers on the roster? And who's your pick?
I like Tillman a lot. I think that Caleb Williams is too rattled at this point to like really come around. Like he's had some real bad weeks, and I'm gonna take Dud. I think he's just going in the right direction, and he's got some good matchups this week. And if Pickens can stop trying to pick fights all game long, he probably could, do a lot better. But Pickens is starting to get hot, and that's a big thing for him.
Pickens picking fights.
Nice one, Dan.
Mike, right up your ass with that pick, huh?
No, it's okay. I actually am picking Jeff to boom this week. I oddly enough like my matchups. I think you remember when you say Thursday night, it's Commanders Eagles. I have Saquon, and he has gone essentially every other game. He's potentially due for a 40-point game, and if he gets that, c'est la vie, I'll be in it. Higgins, I don't know if he's playing yet, so you still have variance on the bottom of the roster. And then Jeff has like 4 matchups. Seattle's defense stinks. McCaffrey will be back. He's got Purdy. Baltimore's secondary stinks. So he's got Pickens against those guys. And Jonathan Taylor, I think he's better with Anthony Richardson because they have the tech. I think Jeff could put up some pretty high scores. I like both of us, but I'm going to take Jeff in the upset because I think Jeff is also going to boom. So I'll double dip.
Whoa.
Nutty. A little chocolate double dip on top of a strawberry double dip.
Oh,
you go chocolate sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles.
I'd probably go rainbow sprinkles if I'm going sprinkles. Why not?
You go to Dairy Queen right now, Pete. What do you get?
Cookie dough blizzard.
As is.
Medium.
Vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream.
Yo, you remember Sunday Supremes?
No.
What? You never had a Sunday Supreme?
Never heard of it.
Well, you probably weren't from a family where like everybody was obese. The Sunday Supreme was like. It was like a to-go container, and they like had like bananas all around it, and like you layered it with ice cream. And honestly, Google Dairy Queen Sunday Supreme, man. That was a big thing around the DeLucas.
Do you guys ever go to Dairy Queen anymore? Do you guys have them by you?
There's one in Maryland.
We have one in our town, and I will always go to the other ice cream joints. It's a terrible. The Dairy Queen in Milford is so much better than Dairy Queen in my town.
They lost their way because now they're trying to do the food too much. The food, it's not that good.
So the one by me does no food. It's like old school, shuts down for the winter, like
that's what we have.
Tradition. And I went there like this summer, got the cherry dilly bars. They were terrible. I had to go back through, throw them out, and I ended up just getting a regular cherry dip cone. Phenomenal. That's my go-to at Dairy Queen.
You go cherry chocolate or vanilla?
Oh, cherry dip.
No, yeah.
Wait,
the dilly bar is just like the to-go cherry dip.
When you do the cherry dip, do you have chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
Oh, vanilla.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah,
I was going to say, if you said chocolate, I would. No.
When people had chocolate and then they did the cherry dip over it, I wanted to like fully freak out. Hated it.
Terrible. To waste.
Also, what is in that cherry dip? That could not be healthy.
Nah. There's no way that thing would just on contact freeze and then not. There's so much stuff in there.
There's no cherry in it. That's the best part.
There's like a whole. What's the red dye? There's a red dye that apparently your kids aren't supposed to eat.
Red dye 5. Like gives everybody cancer.
That was essentially red dye 5 in liquid form that we dipped ice cream in and just ate 10 of them. Like we didn't know anything.
Give it a glaze. Casey, not even cracking a smile. You all right?
I'm good, buddy.
He's off.
He's got
it's
no
not
content.
as fun when
He can't
Casey's
shit on me
good.
I'm a little Yeah, a little sensitive.
What?
Why?
All right. Why?
Not emotional.
You emotional?
No.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next game then. Is the Case the next game? Would have been a good segue. We could have cried for Case.
Yeah.
No, I'm the last game. My game's
this is another excellent game. This is a potential playoff preview. It's funny that Lloyd was just talking smack because this could be a redemption game for Didarian. Let's hear this preview, Pete. Lloyd, Didarian.
Yeah, Lloyd Didarian. Dan had the second highest score last week, so lost in the boom of DeVito was Dan almost booming right there. But Christian, you boys on a 3-game heater. He's the hottest team in the league right now. He's won 3 in a row. Key player in this game, I think, is Ken Walker. Going against the 49ers, you might want to shy away from it or think, I don't know. But this is the same 49ers defense that made Bucky Irving look pretty good and Kareem Hunt before that. And Ken Walker already played him before, even though he had a poor output, he did score on them. So I think he's a key player in the game. And if Ken Walker comes through, the rest of the studs are already there. I'm going to pick Dan. I had him to boom, but I'm going to put it. I'm going to go for a later one on that one. But
you haven't boomed. You have no booms yet.
No, I got you and Dan. No superlatives.
All right, Dan. Give me you're looking at your roster this week. Are we 100% locked in? Where are some debates that you have going on with the team?
Everywhere. I honestly, I don't like my team this week. I get some tough matchups. Like my team's trending in the wrong direction. CeeDee Lamb's like not doing anything. Although Montgomery, I like
check on him, please.
Jeez, Dan, you
no,
all right?
I was actually going to take Christian. I don't like my odds this week. I got some. I mean, other than Chase going against the Chargers, like I don't know.
You gonna play Ken Walker because Pete likes him the most and he's not in your lineup yet?
I have to. I mean, Brian Thomas hasn't done anything. He's kind of hurt. Like
I like him.
I do too, but and then in Jigba, he's been like the biggest wild card. Like Mike, I know you were talking in the beginning of the year. You liked him a lot. He had like 1 or 2 good weeks, and then
I don't like him now. Metcalf's back. I don't like him anymore. There's one move you have to make. There's no question. One of the people you need Ken Walker in. Case is right. Ken Walker's in. Brian Thomas is out. There's one move to me that's so obvious this week that you have to do.
Gino,
dude.
What?
Oh,
Knicks.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't even said it, but yeah, Darnold's out this week for sure.
Yeah, no, Knicks is going in, right?
Knicks is in
100%.
That's why he picked him up.
I can't believe no one else overbid me for the Adam Estime. I mean, he's trending in the right direction.
Poor man's Gus Edwards.
Let's see, Dan. I'll be excited to see when you determine you'll start Estime. You're not starting the Broncos.
Starting them? Yeah.
This is one of the problems you have too. You're stuck with an average backfield and 2 of their running backs. You're not gonna be able to play either of them.
Yeah, you don't like 13 carries and 40 yards. Doesn't get you off, Mike?
No. My view. You know my view, Case. I want high variant receivers and I want running backs who get the ball 20 times a game. Give me Chuba and Connor all day long. Pete, give us your pick. You pick a Case. Give us your pick here. There seems to be some tailwinds for Mr. Didarian's team.
Yeah, Dan's just giving off a ton of confidence for me to pick him right now. I got to go with Hurts on Thursday night. I just called that as a high-scoring game. He's going to be in the middle of everything. I think A-Chain has a nice bounce-back game for him this week. That dude's extremely awesome. The one thing I don't like is the bottom of Christian's roster, 3 tight ends. I'd like to see at least a little mix up there, but looking at his bench, there really isn't a ton to go to. So he's actually probably forced into that move. So outside of Chase, unstable quarterback, questionable confidence out of the manager, I'm going to take Christian as my upset this week. Squeaking it out.
I'm going to go Team Dan, and I'm going to assume Knicks is in. I think we didn't give enough. Knicks will be in.
Up your ass, Larkin.
We didn't give enough credence to a couple guys on Dan's team who I think have the ability to hit a pretty nice floor. Those being Najee Harris and David Montgomery. Those to me are similar guys. We're going to get 15 touches. Montgomery's likely to get in the end zone against this defense. And when he's got 2 of his stalwarts going into Denver, I always get worried about that. And so you're telling me that Bijan and Pitts are going to show up in a tough altitude game against a tough defense? I don't think this is a pretty one. I don't think the boom's coming out of it, but I'm going to take Dan. He's going to start to separate and move himself towards the playoffs personally.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, Pete. Let's get the next one here. We got a couple close ones. Maybe we'll see some locks coming up in this next one. Spades, is he ready to turn it around against our basement dweller, DeVita?
Andy, number 10 seed, CJ, number 2, a couple of numbers you're not used to seeing next to their names. Both with some shifts in the standings after the podcast whooped them up. Andy has lost 3 out of his last 4. CJ started 7-1, but he's lost back-to-back. Spates won the matchup in week 2, but then last week he effed around and found out. I don't have any real analysis here, but I think his team was kind of pent up from last week, so I'm going to pick CJ and I'm going to pick him to boom.
Case. Am I crazy right now?
Yes. Why?
I think DeVita could beat him.
You're definitely crazy.
Let me tell you why.
Andy's checked out. The weeks have hit double digits.
Let me tell you why. I think I see a shootout in Buffalo, and I think the Chiefs have had their offense rickety a bit. I see a touchdown or 2 from Kelsey. Debo's been pent up. Seahawks offense stinks. Jameson Williams still gets his target share, and you have to move Jacobs and Myers up into the Komet.
It still means you're playing either Cole Kmet or Dotson in the other spot.
I feel like this is what happened.
Singletary's on a back. So, Mike, what I would tell you, like, the Chiefs-Buffalo game doesn't have high scoring written all over it, I think, because if you watch the Chiefs, like, they're not playing a bunch of high-scoring games. They're winning games different ways this year. I mean, the Broncos are really good. What was that game, 19-16 or whatever it was?
They didn't need to score.
I just don't think that's the same offensive firepower that they've had in the past.
Here's the problem that I have, and I feel like whenever I see Andy, because with the podcast, we did so many episodes that year that Andy was good. I feel like that was like the we were doing a ton of. So whenever I see Andy, we just picked him and talked about him so much that I'm always like, I think he's gonna win. But this is a different team, and 91 points last week. I don't know. And Spates, I mean, even with his worst showing, would have beat Andy last week.
Yeah,
Jones is nicked up, and McCaffrey is back, so that chips into Debo's running back workload too, Mike. So I don't think you see the same sort of team that looks like it name-wise.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to pick CJ to lock, and I'm going to say if DeVita beats CJ, it will be the second greatest upset.
10 over a 2 is not as good as a 10 over a 1.
In the history of this. Lloyd, does Andy have a chance? Is this a clear redemption game? Spates getting back on the right track.
Yeah, I don't think Andy's got a chance.
Yeah.
Mikey Mush.
That was a good one. Oh, but you laughed. You like that one.
Mikey Mush.
All right, last game of the week could be a loser leaves town for one of these guys.
Second to last.
Second to last game of the week could be a loser leaves town for one of these guys. Pete, I think you are still in it, but you need to beat DeVito, who chose not to show up tonight. Give us this preview.
Yeah, so the two remaining games are a 9 versus 6 and an 8 versus 7. So this one has a lower seed in it, so this one's a little bit higher. Plus, it's a 6 versus 9. Nice. Steve is fresh off a boom, but when you look at the scoring week to week, actually, we're pretty similar. I actually kind of own him week to week, but I won the first game. It was the game that I boomed on that sweet booty. I like Russell Wilson this week. It's going against Baltimore. Baltimore is terrible. I've been watching their secondary get toasted, so I'm rolling with Russ. Let's ride Pete with the upset.
Whoa, you're going right to the well.
Yep. Let's weld.
All right, Dan, you've been I've not made you comment on Pete's team since you've been here. So obviously a massive upset last week. Pete proclaimed 3 weeks ago he was going to play spoiler, and he has done that. His team he's been stack driven with the Cardinals, who are on a bye. Do you think Pete has a chance with some of his secondary players to get a win this week?
I do. I think Russell Wilson's been great. Hopkins should be able to put up some points against Buffalo. Like you guys said, it's going to be a shootout. I like Cortland Sutton against Atlanta. Mooney has been great. So I think he does have a good shot. And Mike Williams, hopefully he finds the end zone too with Russell Wilson. Nice little stack right there.
You want to say anything about Swift? You missed Swift.
He's doing his best DeVito impersonation.
I'm not a Swiftie, you know.
Still better than DeVito. What do you guys think about I fell kind of backwards into a stack. I got Russell Wilson and Mike Williams, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I got the bring back with Johnson on the other side, and I was like, wait, that's got to be the worst stack bring back in the history of fantasy sports.
Dude, you have to drop Johnson. He's barely on the field. You can't play him, Pete.
Well, it's a tough week for anybody. I'm just hoping for a touchdown, and he caught one last week. Who else are you gonna play? There's like tight ends. That's it. You're hoping for a touchdown with that.
I don't mess with tight ends. You know me.
Yeah.
Case. DeVito's team's had a nice couple weeks. We called a lot about how he was tanking. His team stunk. He picked up Tyron Tracy, which has been very helpful and kind of driven him up. We're getting Pollard. His team is now rounded into form where he's at 5-5 and could potentially control his own destiny. Is he going to win this week against Pete?
I mean, I don't want to suffer from recency bias, but I'm feeling Pete this week. And Pete is my upset pick for a couple. Pitt's defense is absolutely legit. Yeah, Pitt's defense is legit. Lamar's going to go into Pittsburgh this week. TJ Watt, that defense is really, really good. So they're going to have at least an ability, I think, to contain him, which then slows down the rest of DeVito's roster. I see both these guys having a couple dart throws. Demario Douglas, Jennings on Steve's side, and then he's got the bottom with Johnson and Mike Williams we just talked about. So I'm taking Pete as my upset, but this is going to be like one of those where he just played like 118 to 112 upset wins, which Pete's getting everybody to slow down a little bit. He's got a little mojo going. Upset, Pete.
Dan, you didn't
Has anyone been picked for more upsets than me? I honestly think I've run the upset pool here.
I'll take Pete as my upset.
How about that for timing?
That's what. Well, when you're in the bottom of the league all year, and people want to pick you to win. It has to be the upset. I'll take Steve.
So, well, look at projected score alone. Maybe your rosters aren't set. Now, did you guys hear the stuff about Tyreek Hill? The reason why he's like injured is like he was kind of injured during camp, and then when he got arrested, it like re-aggravated his injury.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, but yet he's doing like WWE celebrations in the end zone last week, and that didn't.
You can't do that.
You could pick up Odell.
Me?
He's there.
I don't want Odell.
Didn't you have him to begin the year?
I've been there.
He's had Odell multiple times.
He's an X. He's an X. I've moved on.
Pete loves prima donna receivers more than pretty much anybody I know. T.O., Beckham, you name him, Pete's had him.
I like diva wide receivers. I like blondes. I like,
I feel like it's like the WWE intro.
Chris Jericho.
That was crazy. I did not see that.
I want to do one of these pods where all 10 of us end up on it at one point.
It's like a Royal Rumble entrance.
Yeah,
we can make it happen.
Pete kicks people out. You get thrown out over the top.
This is great.
DeVito was in for 15 seconds. That's a new record. He's gone.
I'll be the Chuck of this episode.
You could be the Jerry the King Lawler. You just walk in and Bret Hart punches you and you go fall right out.
Do I have to scream like him too?
Steve, you making a pick here? We're talking about you and Pete.
I already sent my picks in. I took myself in this.
None of us.
Yeah,
did anyone mention these picks? We didn't mention them.
That's okay.
I
got it from the spreadsheet, Steve.
Last game is loser leaves. Can we confirm the last game is loser leaves town? If you lose this game, Case, you think you could win this game and still be around?
Yeah.
We're only 2 games out of a playoff spot. The fourth season's wide open.
He's still in it at 3-7. How am I out of it at 4-6 if I go to 4-7?
You don't got the points, baby.
My points are
because you don't have the greatest upset of all time.
I'm declaring
everybody after the 4 seed has more points given up than points scored. So it's
all right. Well, it's not loser leaves town then. No loser leaves town until next week, according to Brian Casey. But let's get this preview of a game that I think the loser of won't be in the playoffs.
It's close.
Casey had Casey last week had the second lowest score. That was after coming off an almost boom the week before. Casey kind of, if you look at his record, he's 500. He kind of does good, bad, good, bad. Last week was bad. So give you a hint on where I'm going. Breen is 1-5 in his last 6 games. I think the big player here is going to be Devontae Adams against the Colts. they made the Bills, Vikings, and Texans wide receivers all looked great. So I think that the Jets wide receivers will look wonderful against them. I'm going to pick Casey, and I'm going to make it my lock because I haven't made a lock yet. So we're going to go with Casey in the lock.
I don't mind the Case pick, but I think the Jets just suck.
Steve,
Steve, welcome.
A lot of complaining there.
You and Lloyd like to just talk about rosters, so why don't we go back and forth? You want to go through Case, and then Lloyd, you can go through Kev.
Case is my pick.
Who am I going through?
Kev,
I got Case. You got Breen.
you got
Okay.
Kev.
I'm
I
familiar
got
with
Case.
Kev's
I
because
think
of last week.
I think he's got just a better roster than Breen. And I agree. I think Adams is going to go off, and I think Cooper Kupp is starting to round back into form for Los Angeles. So I have Case. Case. There's no way that you're going to go back to back crappy weeks. It's not going to happen. And if you do lose, the reason why I said this is a loser leave town game is because I don't think either one of you are going to win out. So the only way that you are in this is by winning, because neither one of you are going to win out after this.
I think Steve.
But I
Think Steve just predicted the double loss. That's the first ever double loss.
Hi.
Dan, I think Kevin's going to win this game, and I'm going to tell you why I think Kevin's going to win this game, because I think you're
He's
going
doing
to
it just to piss Case off.
Hey, Pete, I feel better right now. I feel so much better.
I know
Make
it feels
Make
great.
some sweeping declaration, Mike. Make a sweeping declaration.
You're going to get
Jaden.
Jaden Reed plug in. You're going to get Nick Chubb plug in, and you're going to pull obviously the bye of Harrison, and then who knows where he wants to go. But I think Kevin's roster at the moment is in a pretty good position, and I just played Case's team, and I got to tell you, they weren't scary. Dan, agree or disagree?
This is a tough one. I think I'd take Case.
Yeah, that's my Italian boy right there.
Stop.
A lot of
That's
red
not
room
funny
going on.
anymore.
Am I alone with Kev?
I'm taking myself. My team's right. My team's primed for a playoff push.
It's classic.
I hope so. Dan, how's it feel? How'd it feel to be on the pod? Did we do all right?
It was great. Yeah, I'd love to join more often, but usually it's past my bedtime.
I know that's usually why, but I'll extend the invitation. I don't.
Yeah.
It just
because Mike's always late.
I was feeling some Royal Rumble entrances tonight.
I was on at 8:45.
Yeah, you were on way too early. You can't be on that early.
It got me out of bedtime, so I was like, all right, yeah, I gotta go on the podcast. You gotta put the kid down.
Hey, Dan. Why did my buddy grow a mustache?
Oh.
Why?
To finally prove he could commit to something for more than a week. On that note.